Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at how the physical second Super Saiyan Trunks Teen LR unit does in the Gods of Destruction event after his recent EZA. So obviously an important thing to take note here is to obviously list through Trunks' EZA. So of course Trunks previously was a 90% physical type leader. He's now 120% leader. He raises his defense on his 12 key for 6 turns and also raises it on his 18 key for 6 turns. Instead of having attack and of 120%, he now has attack of 150% and defense of 100%. He has key plus 3 plus an additional attack of 50% when attacking high extreme class enemies. He also gets a high chance to perform a critical hit. He has 5 key and performs a critical hit guaranteed when he is facing a Wicked Bloodlines enemy. So that's all pretty good and proper. Obviously I do not have Trunks, did not get lucky on his legendary banner. So instead I am using a friend Trunks as a friend lead. I am also using 130% physical SS3 Gotenks as my lead, so obviously Trunks is not operating at full capacity, but he will do more than fine, as you'll see. So yeah, he starts with 90,000 defense here. This is with one dupe, but he'll be okay. We do currently have an item active, so we're going to see how he performs. This is obviously with a Whis active. It's important to note that he gets some decent links from the physical Gohan, but he doesn't get the most important link, which is called Judgment. So that is something important to obviously be mindful of when you are evaluating him. His defense will still be more than fine, especially once we start to build up these stacks. Remember, he stacks for 6 turns, which means he can hold up to 3 stacks at a time, which is pretty good. So we'll definitely take a look, see how he does. But overall, Trunks will be fine. 100k there, not too bad in terms of damage. Obviously, we do have a Whis active, so that is something to take note of. For Trunks, in terms of damage, he's did okay there. His damage can be a little bit inconsistent when you don't get all the right links active, but he'll be fine. His great chance to crit really does help him out in terms of damage. It is a 50% chance, so this is the kind of unit that you want to build full additionals on essentially. There's no real reason not to build full additionals on him, and by building full additionals you essentially guarantee, well not guarantee, but you give him a good chance of building additional stacks. Because he can hold up to 6 turns of stacks at any given time, any single additional he does will actually be quite relevant in terms of his overall defense, because he can hold them for quite a while. If he gets 2 additional attacks in the space of 3 turns, so if he essentially fires 5 attacks in the space of 3 rotations, he can actually have a pretty good level of defense. So here you can see immediately his defense has shot up to 135k, which is very good. Not much better, but obviously you can see how quickly it's jumped up from the 90,000 mark, and it'll jump up even more. Obviously we do have a bit of support from this Goku, something that's just kind of important to take note of, but Trunks will be pretty good anyway. Trunks looks really solid so far. I think the only thing 3.1 is okay, but again not really the highest level of damage. We are missing his biggest links, so that's 10k without an item after 1 turn, 181k on a super, which isn't bad considering the level of difficulty of these events, considering the fact that he's not even running, like for example you could run him if you had him under a full Future Saga team and he'd be performing much better because it'd be double 170% across the board leads. So yeah, pretty damn good. In terms of links, we are missing some of his more crucial links, especially if we're looking at output. Things like Royal Lineage, Shocking Speed, Legendary Power being active really do help Trunks quite a bit. But yeah, still definitely looking like a really solid unit so far. He managed to handle the heat without an item on just his second turn, and his defense can still step up a notch. So for Trunks, that means double digits. That also means, you know, tanking super attacks for less than about 150k, which is really good. And yeah, it just looks really solid overall for him. I think he's bringing a good level of reliability to the stage. Yeah, maybe you could question his damage. I do think it's a little bit low, but we are running under 2 lower lead skills, but even comparatively to some of the other units, it is just a little bit low. Obviously a Rainbow Trunks will hit for quite a lot. That is just something that will happen, but yeah, it's quite obvious that it is, you know, some kind of issue. 188k is very good. Obviously we're now starting to see how high his defense can go. Remember, he'll still stack once more after this, and if he gets an additional, he'll carry that stack through. So if you compare him to the Future Gohan is hitting 3 million and is probably better defensively, but Future Gohan is a Rainbow unit currently, whereas this is a unit with 1 dupe. So he's comparing quite favorably, and I think Future Gohan's a very powerful EZA. I think he's a very good unit. Obviously the damage again is just not entirely the most impressive, but with a 50% chance to crit, it's very difficult to just kind of remark that a unit is not doing damage, because those crits at 2.6 million or 3 million or just below that will hit way harder than comparatively a non-critable 3 million. That being said, I think comparing him to Future Gohan, it does feel a little bit like Future Gohan is outperforming him. Yes, it is a 100% unit compared to a 55% unit, but I think if they had given Trunks stacking attack, it would have been good, because I think then he would have reached some pretty nice attack numbers as well, and I think then he'd be really solid. I think defensively he's more than fine now, especially if you have a Rainbow level Trunks or anything like that. But yeah, he definitely could have done with maybe an attack boost as well. Just stacking attack would have really made him look super duper impressive, although I of course do love him because, you know, Trunks. So, but yeah, definitely I would say they could have done a tiny bit more. But overall, he's still looking really solid, and he's held up really nicely defensively, and just overall the whole team's done really well. So Trunks looking really good. The EZA has really brought him into the current meta. Being able to handle the Gods of Destruction event is no small feat. It is a really good level to be at, and it means that he's usable for most of the end game content. Yes, he'll struggle in certain events where he gets, you know, attacked by strength type enemies or things like that in super hardcore events, but a lot of units would. It's still a level to aspire to. So here we see him at 178,000 defense, really solid. Obviously just looking really good, no support on a rotation or anything like that. And yeah, he's just really starting to look super duper good right now. So very happy with Trunks, very happy with how he's performed. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we need to see. I don't think there's like anything else you need to see from Trunks. I think we've seen everything that like you want to see. We've seen him tank super attacks and normals without an item. We've seen him tank stuff with an item. We've seen a decent level of offense, if not maybe an unspectacular level of offense, at least for a, you know, EZA summonable LR. That being said, he is running under essentially 125% lead, comparatively to running under a full 170% lead, which would obviously really help him out quite a bit. But yeah, I think for me, really good. Obviously, clearly been brought into the current meta. LR with 1 dupe, managing to handle this level of offensive scrutiny, very good. and I'm very, very impressed with how Trunks is done, and very happy with how things have gone. So yeah, from me, I think very impressive, and yeah, I think if you do have Trunks, try and take him on the stage. Try and take on the stage. If you haven't challenged the the Gods of Destruction event, you definitely have a good unit to try take it on with now. But as always, guys, that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Otherwise, leave a comment, and I'll try and reply back. And yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye.